this? Aromatic. Usually we do the almighty dollar. And there's one of them that sounds, what does this sound like? Tell me. Hold on, please. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Hold on. Push it. Push it. Does it sound like that song? It's my 80s people. I know you guys know that song. It's a naughty song, but I know you know it anyways. All right, hold on. Let me come find y'all. I'm so excited. I have so much good shit tonight. That's because I haven't been on a live in a little bit. Of course, because epic, amazing things are going down over here. Who's here? Say hello so I can see you. If you're new, please tell me where you're from and how you found me, or just say hi and tell me that you're new and this is your first time. I usually like to come and check out your page and just see you and who you are. I like to know my new people. If you're already in my audience, say hello, send some love. If you're on a replay, tell me you're on a replay. Hold on, I'm coming to find you. I'm coming. Did everybody hear? Hi, Janet. Did everybody hear about the giveaway that's going on? Did you hear? Do you know that I'm giving away an entire program to somebody? Just because. That's why, just because. Because it feels good. Because I got my ass kicked in the last week. And then today I was like, well, what do I want to do then? Since I got my ass kicked. It's like one of those times when you do all the right things, right? Like, let's see, what did I do? I went in the zero gravity room and floated. I did the hot sauna. I got a massage. I went to yoga. I worked out. I ate well. I slept well. I drank my freaking water. I got sunshine. I laid out in the sun. Like all that. I was doing reading. Like I was doing all the things, and I was still getting my ever loving ass kicked. And I was like, great. Well, what do you do when you get your ass kicked? Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Love you. I miss you. Hey, Mark. Hey, from Texas. Yeah. I heard it's cold over there. Okay. Today. I heard it's cold over there today. Let me finish that statement. As if anybody knows me personally knows that I'm geographically challenged. Like for real. So I needed to finish that statement so that I was the new up-leveled version of me who is very, very savvy with geograph. Scratch that, cancel, just scratch all of it. I am absolutely brilliant at what I'm absolutely brilliant at, and the things I'm not. That's what it is. Okay, so I was giving my ever-loving ass kicked. Even my son was like, Mom, you're doing all the right things. Like, how come you seem so like, and my team was like, time to bring your head down from the clouds. I was in a very creative space and creating epic shit. If you guys haven't seen Wild at Heart, it's mandyperry.com. That program is, oh my God. I literally was launching a program, a high-end program, and canceled it, which I've never actually done before. Which is actually part of what I want to share with you guys. It's like the freedom to do the things that light you the fuck up so that you get the result. It's a big part of what I'm sharing with you guys today. It's something that nobody does. And I don't know why nobody does it. It's kind of instinctive for me to do it. Maybe I just have lived the kind of life where breaking the rules was somewhat required. But actually it can really transform your entire business and your entire life when you give yourself permission to do the thing we're going to talk about today. However, my point is that I was really feeling like, well, what is this? Like, I've done everything I know to do and it's still not working, which I know is complete bullshit. So then I really just dropped in and tuned in like, what, Mandy? Like, what do you feel like you need, right? Because whatever I need, if you give that to the world, it comes back to you. Life supports life. So what I give is what I get back. And that is what it is. You can understand the concept. You can believe in God, not believe in God. It doesn't matter. It's true. We know it's true. When you see a crabby ass person walking around the grocery store, ain't nobody smiling at that crabby ass person. Everybody's like dodging them and avoiding them. And that person's telling themselves a story like, see, everybody is mean. But really their vibe was the one creating it. That's like a super basic way of putting something. Now just apply that to something much more complicated, right? So what I felt like I needed was just like, I wanted to feel like gentle and good and like I was just free to be me. Because there were some things happening that made me feel a little bit clogged, like I wasn't free to be me. So then I was like, well, what do I want to do? I was like, well, I want to give some shit away. I love when I do that. I freaking love when I give shit away. It's so much fun. I've given away Maui retreats, Bali retreats. I've given away so much shit. I've given away one-on-one stuff. I've given away so much stuff. It's pretty rare that I would give away personal access to me now, especially since the groups I've been running give them access to me. But I have given that away. So I was like, I want to give shit away. And then I was like, well, you can't, like, what's the first thought? Listen to me, guys, right? The first thought is like, well, you can't because you're in the middle of a launch and you already changed the program. So you have to just tell them about Wild at Heart. You can't be giving shit away because if you're giving shit away, nobody's going to buy Wild at Heart. And then right away I was like, oh, that's like such a low level belief. Like, I don't actually believe that. That's not in alignment with what I actually believe. I don't believe that at all. I knew that I was longing to sort of connect and collaborate with people that way, and that I just wanted to have some fun, and I wanted to feel gentle and supportive, and I'm like, those are the things I wanted, so that's what I'm giving to the world, because I know that's what's going to bring it back to me. It's just that simple. It's kind of selfish. I love you, and I know you're going to get some value out of whatever group I give away to whoever I give it away, because I trust my intuition to pick perfectly. But I also was being selfish because I know as I engage that way in life that that's going to be brought back to me, which is something I'm longing for right now, right? So yes, I will give you the details on that. Actually, what I'm going to do right now is I'll just share the link in this thread for you guys so that you can listen to what I'm teaching right now, because it's actually going to be pretty awesome. But you won't feel like you have to go crazy searching for the link. So I'm going to, if I can I? No, of course not. I'll have to do it after. I'll drop it in the comments in here. But there's a picture of me in a hoodie. It's like 2 links down on my personal page, which is at Miss Mandy Perry. It's this page. Hey, Paul. Okay, so the deal is I'm giving away one program. Now, Diamond Mastermind, not included, because that's my highest end private clients who get a year of access to me. It's actually indefinite. It's an indefinite program that goes on indefinitely. My clients come on every live event with me. They get access to every program that I do, plus they get one-on-ones, plus I do weekly trainings in the group. Now, the only other one that isn't included is obviously the open one, Wild at Heart, which I highly recommend you jump into. It's incredibly low priced, and I did that on purpose because I was still feeling like I just wanted to give. So I did that. So get your ass in the Wild at Heart group. It's fucking amazing. And it's basically a massive extension of what I'm going to go through today. And make sure in the thread, okay, listen to me guys for 1 second. This is going to sound like I'm being, hey Jennifer, it's going to sound like I'm being, like I'm talking to you like you're in kindergarten, but I'm not. Because if y'all weren't doing shit that required me to say this, I wouldn't say it. So that means it's required for me to say this. Follow the directions. I'm never going to hire someone for my team, and I'm never going to gift something away to someone who didn't follow the directions that I gave them. I'm like, I'll do 1 or 2 reminders in there, especially for the people that have already been with me that I know personally. I'm going to like love them a little bit more. But you need to follow the directions. You need to do specifically what I ask, because I ask for a specific reason, right? One of the things I ask is to tell me, like, go on my website, mandyperry.com, look at all the programs and see which one really sticks out and resonates with you, right? And then tell me, why do you know you're going to crush it? Like, why do you know you're going to get massive results from that group? Because the truth is, if you're getting something for free, you're not very invested. So I need to know how you're invested. How are you motherfucking deciding that, like, I've decided, I know if I take this program, this is what I decided, this is what I'm committed to, this is what I know I'm going to get as a result. Now that means a lot to me because I put my blood, sweat, and tears in these programs, and I'm giving it away for free. So the reason I ask that is very specific. It's not just to get you to comment on my post. I had you tag a friend for that, right? That's like the favor back to me. But I had you comment that for a reason. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's also a big lesson that I had to learn. Like, do the things well that are in front of you. Like, stop and do it well, because you never know what opportunities coming your way. Right? Like, you don't know what opportunities are coming, and you need to stop and do the thing in front of you really friggin' well so that you can take advantage of whatever that opportunity is. Because some people are going to miss the opportunity of having this gifted program to them because they didn't stop and be patient enough to actually follow the directions and do the thing in front of them well. And that's sad. That's not, like, we need to be past that shit, right? Yes, common sense is not always common, but also that's not actually common sense, I don't believe. I believe that's actually not fucking squirreling out. Like, just not being scattered and crazy, and like actually just slowing down and tuning in, which is something that our culture specifically is really struggling with, obviously, right? Okay, so Wild at Heart, by the way, is all based on these deep longings that we have. Like, okay, I wanted to give that program away today, right? And I'll give you an even better example that everybody's kind of freaking out about, and that's like how I made 81K in 4 days. Everybody's kind of freaking out about that. And I get it, because I would too. Well, I was too. I did too. It was pretty freaking awesome, and I feel super, super blessed. And usually when I talk about numbers, people, they do get, like, people get cranky about numbers and stuff like that. And that's okay, and I get it, right? But here's the deal. Wild at Heart is simply and completely based on truly feeling what you actually feel inside of your body. Like, this is what I long for. This is who I am. Just today, there's this thought that keeps coming to me, and it's like, well, Mandy, if you would just tone it down a little bit, if you would not swear, if you would be a little sweeter, you know what I mean? Like, encourage them more instead of calling them out, like, your business would blow up, and you know it. Like, you really need to shift into that, Mandy. Like, it's not that bad. You could just journal more, and you could read, you could just calm the fuck down a little bit, and then you wouldn't swear as much. And as I'm telling you the story, I'm swearing. Very me, right? And like, instantly I was like, but that's not me. It's not me. That's not who I am. I mean, it's just really genuinely not who I am. I'm not some like calm, satiated person who's just gonna tell you like, yeah, you're doing a good job. I'm gonna tell you to shut the fuck up, stop pretending that you don't know what you need to do, and let's get going. Like, let's do this shit. And I'm gonna reflect back to you like, what's gonna happen if you don't? Like, come on, let's tell ourselves the truth. And by the way, guess what's possible for you? And I'm gonna reflect back to you like, no. You're not using anything around you as an excuse. Like, this is really genuinely possible for you. Your dream life is genuinely possible for you. Now, the 81K that I made in 4 days, that is what inspired the Wild at Heart program. You wouldn't be able to necessarily connect the two, but I'm gonna explain to you how. I made 41K in 4 days, the same exact way that I'm showing up today, which is where I'm offering to gift a free program to somebody, because that's what was on my heart. And the rules that started flooding my head when I first had that idea, I just pushed away. Like, I just fucking pushed them away. I know that Wild at Heart will sell while I'm giving away free shit. Who doesn't want to buy from someone that's giving away free shit? If someone's gifting people something, I'm trusting them more. I'm sensing like there's something good about that person. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I know that people around me aren't. they're quite intelligent, and I know that people can tell when someone's being genuine and when someone's just trying to do something tricky to get a sale. Like, we can tell when people are like that way. We're all terrified we're going to be that person. We're all terrified we're going to be the person who's like salesy and pushy and tricky, and deep down inside, the really good people who are super genuine, they're terrified the most that like, but maybe I'm just lying to myself. Maybe I'm just kidding and I really don't care about people. I only care about myself. Like, the good people, they worry about that, because the people who are that way, they don't worry about that. They're not, I trust you, not 1 ounce of sleep is being lost because they're worried that they might actually be a bad person. None. Only good fucking people worry about that shit. So I laugh when this kind of stuff comes up, right? So here's the deal. I told the story in one of my blogs, and people are, hey, Shannon, people are seriously freaking out about this. Like, I'm getting so many messages and so many questions, and I completely understand that. I really do. And unfortunately, I think people are disappointed when I tell them the truth. Like, when I tell you the truth, like, okay, yeah, the reason that I'm successful in my business is because I do crazy shit. And when I'm doing, or when I'm about to, or when I'm starting to do the crazy shit, most of the people around me are like, that's crazy, you're crazy, you shouldn't be doing that, that's not safe, that's not pragmatic, you need to be more careful, you need to have a backup plan, blah, 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 blah. I know you guys have all heard it. Shoot me a heart if somebody has told you that you need to not be as crazy as you are in your lifetime. 700 times. You're only allowed to send me a heart emoji if it's been 700 times. Okay, fuck it. 1,700 times in your life, people have told you to not be so much. Don't be so much. Don't go so big. Don't try that much. You can't do that. That's not safe. You need to stop. You need to slow down. You need to think more. Like, fuck it, 7,000. I know y'all. These are my crazies. I love you people, because you are the crazies. That's why you're here, changing the motherfucking world, right? So, okay, so yes, all of that stuff happens and that stuff comes up. Now, as I closed the year, most of you know, I'm just super raw and blunt. If you're new to me, this is how I do things. It's like really no filter, behind the curtain type of thing. I try to make sure I'm only telling my story. So sometimes I leave stuff out because it's not just my story to tell. But the parts that are my story, I do tell you guys. And I think that's really helpful, because my entire journey, I searched and searched, which now, Kat, Amanda, the mentors I have, they do share everything with us. Like, sometimes I'm like, wow, like I found people, not all coaches and mentors want to be like, look at me, I'm at the top, you guys are behind some kind of curtain, which was my earlier experience with mentors, but it's not true. there's so many of us. There's a huge group of us out there that just love and support each other, and we're rooting for each other, and it's genuine. It's not, there's like, of course there's a little bit of competitive because who can be like us and not be competitive? I mean, that's what it is. But it's a fun, loving, genuine competitiveness in a way that's supportive and is wide open. The doors just wide open. Here's the information. So the way I choose to show up is wide open because I had trouble finding that in this world. I genuinely had trouble finding people that would just share. This is how I feel. This is what's going on, let alone a mentor who would be like, yeah, this is what's behind the scene in the business. This is how it's done. This is the lessons I learned. This is where it's messy. This is what's hard. So I just decided, well, actually I read a quote. I didn't just magically, I read a quote that really resonated with me, and it was like, be the need that, like, fill the need that you see in the world. Which is how I've really shifted and really, really show up in my life, which I love. I think it's so much fun and it really rewards me. So at the end of the year, I was going through a divorce, and it got messy, and I realized there was tons of money I was gonna have to pay, like tons of money. Like Florida laws are completely different here, and I was really shocked, and it was really kind of a hard season. And it was like, okay, now I'm a single mom in a state where I don't know anybody. I don't have any friends here. I'm like just starting to make friends now. I've made a couple really awesome women friends here. I don't have any family here. The school systems are different. The doctors, the health insurance, the dental insurance, the dentist, like every fucking thing. And then I got stuck in this house because the house is in my name. So now I have a house I've never owned before, didn't know how to fucking deal with the house, didn't know how to deal with the AC units and all the crazy shit. And this is a huge house here in Florida. Also, like pool, I didn't know how to fucking deal with the pool. Like I didn't know how to do any of this shit here. And then also on top of that, I had to move my entire business here. So now the incorporation has to transfer. I needed to get a new CPA, new financial people. I was just like, holy shit. On top of this, I have lawyers asking me for all this paperwork and this information and like the dates and just the stress of whatever that process is anyway. And I was just like, holy shit. Like holy actual shit. Like I was like, you finally did it, Mandy. You went too far. You pushed it too far. Like you did. You went too fucking far now. Like I don't know if you're gonna be able to get through this one. Like, and then I was like, oh my God, my kids are relying on me. I'm here by myself. Like, you need to just fucking handle this, Mandy, right? So now, what is the general instinct of most people in a situation anywhere even remotely close to this? Like, what would most people do in a situation like that? They would ease up, right? We're gonna ease up, we're gonna ease back, we're gonna lower the pressure, lower the tension, we're gonna make ourselves feel better because my God, this is so hard, right? Which I definitely used to live like. I needed validation all the time that my life was hard. Like I needed people to constantly reflect back to me that my life was hard. So I was always living in the energy and a space of look how hard my life is. I was beaten as a kid and I was molested and all this stuff happened to me and blah, 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 blah. In the Marine Corps, and then I was cheated on. I was a single mom and he hid the money from me and he wouldn't pay child. And it was just fucking endless amounts of look how hard my life is. So of course, that's the way that it perpetuated because that's the vision I had in my head. And so that's how I responded to everything. And that's what I called in. Now, when I went here, I've learned that lesson, right? So there I was in that situation and I was like, oh no, fuck this. Nope, no fucking way. And this is what I want you guys to get. And this is what the whole entire program is based on that I'm running right now, Wild at Heart, MandyPerry.com. I don't know if my team's on here, if she's dropped the link for you, but it's just MandyPerry.com. Easy to remember. Listen to me. The whole point is I went into, at the end of the year, I was like, nope. This is where people fail. This is life is happening right now. I already knew life was happening. You fucking know life's gonna happen. What are you gonna only build your business when life's not happening? Life is gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening. You're gonna have tons of shit go down. People are gonna get sick. People are gonna die. People are going to leave or hurt you or break your heart or betray you, or team members are gonna show up in a really messy way and piss you off or trigger you and make you feel like you can't be supported, or you're gonna invest in things that you didn't get your return on. These things are going to fucking happen. You just know they're going to happen. End of story. That life happens. End of story. We learn lessons. That's how it works. So I was like, oh fuck no. This is where it happens. This is where people ease off the gas pedal. And I would have been fine. I would have gotten through. I would have still made probably another $500,000 a year. And that's pretty epic. And I could have really eased off and felt bad for myself and given myself a lot of healing space and stuff like that. And I gave myself permission, hey Mandy, if that's what you really want, you can. You can do that if that's what you really want. You can, it's fine. Because it really is fine. There's no fucking rules. You don't have to or not do something. The real question is, what do you actually fucking want? What do you actually want? Do you know what I'm saying? Hey, Siobhan, thank you, love you. Okay, the only question is, what do you actually want? What did I want? Did I want that? Did I want to ease off and like be in my little cocoon? I was gonna say coma, kind of a coma. Did I want to be in my little cocoon and just like heal and like let the world feel bad for me? Because I could have that if I wanted to. But really the truth was like, no, fuck no. I wanted to rise to another level where handling this level of shit was no big deal. The vision I have in my head of myself is making $30 million decisions. For whatever reason, that's the thing that stuck in my head. And so if I'm making $30 million decisions, the pressure's certainly gonna feel more than this right here, which is pretty epic amounts of pressure for me in my stage. And so what did I do? I did shit that nobody else does. I didn't even recognize like, oh, this is a thing until one of my own mentors reflected it back to me. And I was like, oh, she's so right. She's so right. When all that shit was going on and I had every excuse in the world to ease back, I decided to take all of my tax money and invest it at the very end of the year, knowing that the taxes were gonna come up due in 3 months and I was gonna have to replace all that income. But not only was I gonna have to replace that income, I was also gonna have to generate and show up and do all of this shit with all of that shit going on. And so what do you think happened right after that? So now we're in January. In January, I already had to make bigger numbers than I ever had because I took over everything all by myself. Like every single bill that could possibly be here, plus extra bills, plus all the lawyers and everything else. And I was like, okay. So I put myself in a position where I had no fucking choice but to show up. Do you really think I'm gonna let my kids down? Not gonna happen. Do you think I'm really gonna let shit fall apart? Neither are you. You're not gonna let yourself down. You're not gonna let your kids down. You're not gonna let shit fall apart. It is safe for you to do brave, epic shit because only then will you really see another side of you and what you're made of. When your back is against the fucking wall, you will turn into Mama Bear or Daddy Bear or whatever fucking version of this. You will turn into the Incredible Hulk. You will turn into Superwoman. You will turn into a fucking next level version of yourself because you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. And it gets to be easy too. So now let's go. So I ended the year. That's what I did. I invested that way and I was like, holy shit. Now this is the numbers I got to make for this month. Now we're through, I think what I was required to make was like 70K. That's what I needed to make. And then we're all the way to the 20th in January and I've generated $2,800. Yes, Mommy Shark. I love that. The only thing that matters is what you actually fucking want. It's the only question I ask myself. The only question I ask myself when I'm in a situation is, what do I actually want? Because the rest is mischief, right? And then we just get to back up what we want because it's always available. So now it's the 20th of January. I have decided and put myself in this level position, which by the way, for 2 days, I like walked around just like, and then one day I had to fucking decide, right? Like I was like, Mandy, you have 5 minutes to decide about the $30,000 investment that I was gonna do. You have 5 minutes to decide. End of story. You will decide at the end of that 5 minutes and then you will make that decision right and you will never question it again. And I was in the bathroom. I was up in Boston. We had rented a big house for the whole family for New Year's and Christmas. And so I was in the bathroom and I paced for 5 minutes and it was like 4 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing it. You're not backing down. You're fucking not. Like, you will do this and you will press the gas. You are not fucking hitting the brake. You will press that motherfucking gas. And so I did it and I made it happen and I did everything. That next day it was all finalized and all done. So now we go to January 20th and I've generated $2,800 and there's 10 days left in the month. So what do? I go and tell my diamonds the truth. Like, yeah, fuck. I have 10 days to generate like $70,000. So what happens in that moment is all the rules that you normally apply, all the bullshit that you tell yourself, all the excuses, all the this is hard, all that peripheral bullshit is gone. It's gone. It's like you in the number, you in the goal, you in the reward, you in the thing you fucking promised yourself and nothing else exists. It's like me and Soul and we're just standing there and I'm staring at Soul and I'm just like, fuck. Okay, I see you, I'm here, we're doing this, right? And then I made $81,000 in 4 days, which is insane. It's completely insane. But let me just tell you how that happened, okay? I need you to track with me for a second. It happened because I had the balls to do really brave shit because of how I believed. Because of how I believed. This is how Wild at Heart was created. Because there's beliefs and knowing so deep inside of your soul, like in your body and in your being, you fucking know. I knew the second I came up with that, like, oh, I was up against that 30K decision, I knew the right decision was to make the investment. I knew that I would follow through and I knew I would show the fuck up and I knew that I would get a massive reward on the other side of it. I knew that. Just like I knew, because I waited all the way to the 20th because I knew I could do it. I knew I could. I kind of was banking on myself and just like I gave myself that little cocoon for a little bit, and then I was like banking on it, and I knew I would show the fuck up. I didn't realize that I would crush it and go into millionaire numbers, which is pretty amazing. So after all this stuff going on, I hit my first millionaire number month. And that was because in the moment, I had the balls to do brave shit, right? Like my one-on-one sell out in minutes. Like when I put an offer out there for a one-on-one, I had a $40,000 package, $45,000 if they're paying in payments, and it sold in 30 minutes. Before that, I had a $7,000 program, it sold in 30 seconds. 30 seconds, it was gone. The reason this happens is because, and only because, the only time I do things like that is when I'm fully listening to soul. Like I'm not just gonna give away massive one-on-one packages, even if they're for an awesome price, like even if I'm like happy with the price, I'm not doing that because that is a huge commitment for me, right? So when soul prompts me to do stuff like that, I do it. And by the way, do you know, it kind of takes balls for me to say, hey, here's a $40,000 package that's going to sell out in minutes. That takes a lot of faith. But when soul is calling me to that, I know it's an aligned thing. I know the person that gets it, it was exactly what was meant to be. I know it's going to sell in minutes because I just was called to do that. I felt like it was like a drop down, like this is what you're doing, Mandy. And I was like, okay. Me and soul in an empty room. Nothing else fucking exists. Soul's telling me this is what you're doing. I'm going, okay, got it. And I know. And that is such a different way to live. That is such a different, all of the pieces that I just told you is not bragging. And this is what I explained in the blog. It has nothing to do with fucking bragging and like, oh, look how great Mandy is. The whole point is like, it has nothing to do with Mandy and has everything to do with the result of doing really brave, tuned in shit and telling yourself the truth about what you actually want, what rules you're putting on yourself, what limitations you're giving yourself, what loops you're stuck in, and how you're not being able to give yourself the wild, fucking, epic, crazy life that you actually long for, no matter what the fuck is going on. It's not true that my life is easy. It's not true that I'm like smarter than someone. It's not true that like, oh, but she's just so big and whatever. No, fuck that, all of it. Fuck all of it. None of it's true. I'm being who I feel called to be, and I'm giving myself permission to, and I'm feeling like I'm worthy to be who I am. And then when I feel called to do really brave, scary shit, I do it. And then I get the reward because of that, which, by the way, is a learnable skill. That is something you can model. That's something you can do. That's not specific to a human being. Can you hear what I'm saying to me? So just like right now, I have Wild at Heart for sale, but I'm giving away a free program to somebody because I wanted to, because it feels good, and I needed something that felt good right now. I deserve something that feels good, and it feels good for me to bless you guys. So I created a program that I'm super fucking excited about that's going to teach people how to finally take what's in here in this longing and desire and actually get to, like, actually bring that into the world, actually let that out, actually break through the excuse and the fucking rule and the lack of boundaries with the people in your life and the, you know, the consequences of the bad behavior that you're doing that you haven't figured out how to get in the loop out of, the stories that you told yourself, the trauma that's stuck there and left over. It's like all of this stuff is all around you, just like stuffing it in, and you're not letting it come out. You're not letting yourself live your wildest, fullest, most expressed life. And I know that's because of beliefs that you have and stories that you're telling yourself. And when those shift, the behavior shifts. The behavior shifts, right? I'm constantly telling my clients, like, stop focusing on that. The result doesn't matter. What matters if you showed up in integrity with your highest self today. You know, you fucking know when your soul says, do that, that's a fuck yes, and you don't listen. You knew the second you heard it, you knew it was a fuck yes. You knew that investment or that opportunity or hiring that person or whatever the thing was, you knew it was a hell yes, but then you pause and 5 seconds later, the system kicks in and now you've got squirrel. Now you've got, yeah, but this and now you're actually duking it out with the part of you that wants to stay the same. So the part of you that your higher self that's calling you to grow, that fucking knows what's available for you, gave you an answer, gave you a calling, gave you a prompting, and then you wait and you pause and you stutter step, and then 5 seconds later, you're battling with the party that wants to stay the same. Your neurological wiring, all the shit in your system, your old stories, your old trauma, all of that shit starts to kick in, right? Which is why I'm constantly repeating Tony Robbins' phrase, which I think there's no other way to say it better than this, so I just say it like he does, is never leave the scene of a breakthrough without taking massive fucking action. Like, just don't. Just don't, right? Like the only thing that happened with the $30,000 decision was I tortured myself for a couple days. I could have just made the decision in the beginning because I fucking knew. Just like every time I've ever known something that I need to invest in, sometimes I fall through. I always do now. Yeah, I really always do now. But in the beginning, I didn't always. I hesitated. I had to learn to trust myself and trust that I could back myself and trust that I was always making the right decision. And by the way, even when Soul has told me, fuck yes, do that, and then it didn't pan out, I learned epic shit from it. And it was all exactly what was meant to be. It was still exactly what was meant to be. So I don't know what our standards are that we're comparing things to, but you already have evidence that following that initial gut, following that instinct is the thing that will bring all of the support and all the epic shit in your life. Does this make sense to you guys? I really need to see a shift in my tribe and a shift in my community in believing that I'm something separate from you guys. I need that to shift. That is going to shift. I'm calling that in. I am calling you guys to that right fucking now. We are not different. 3 years ago, I was a fucking mom on welfare. We are not different. We are not different. We're not. Our behavior might be different. Our beliefs might be different, but we are not. Human is fucking human. We are human beings and we are the fucking same. And if you decide that you want to stop backing up the highest version of yourself and what you fucking know to be true and you start stepping into bravery, you're going to have the results from it too. And that is a learned behavior that I have learned and trained myself to get into. And this is why I've decided to teach what I'm teaching this month is the beliefs behind it. Like, for example, I'm giving away a free program in the middle of launching a brand new program. Now people are going to hesitate to buy the program because they want to wait to see if they win a program. That's not going to fucking happen. My people who are all fucking in, who are like, oh my God, I do feel wild at heart. I do. I feel big. I feel epic. I feel like I'm meant to change the world, but it's not really translating. And I have this deep need and this deep longing to break through that and feel wild and fully expressed, to feel like I'm fucking free. They're gonna purchase the program. End of story. There's nothing I can or can't do that would stop that from happening because that's an integrity with me and that's in my soul. That's what I'm being called to do, so that's what I do. That is such a small, tiny example of a belief that I can shift into that gives me the freedom to do the kind of fun stuff that I do that makes me love and enjoy my business and get awesome, epic results. That was a super fucking clever idea. I don't even know what I was doing. What was I doing? I was at the gym. I was at the gym on the treadmill and I was like, I'm gonna have them go browse and pick whatever fucking program. Normally I'm like, this is what I'm giving away. This time I was like, I'm gonna have them pick. I'm gonna have them look at all the programs and I'll have them pick whatever fucking one they want. And then tell me why they believe that program will break through. Do you know how many things this does for me? This tells me what you guys are struggling with the most so that I can saturate this and support you guys more with that. It has you guys go to my website. So that's like boosting my website and it's giving you guys an opportunity to look at all my programs. So later when I rerun it, maybe there's another one that's on your radar. It does so many awesome things. Plus it supports you in being able to feel the tension of making a decision to commit in yourself. It gets promotion to my new program because that's the first one you see on the page. Like, and all I was doing was walking on a fucking treadmill. I was walking on a treadmill. That's what I was doing. Most of the last week I was studying shit about dating. Because it's been really difficult for me to transition into this whole casual thing. My brain just like, I'm quite intense. And when I do something, I'm like all in. So this like whole casual dating thing was really like fritzing my brain and I needed to understand it. So I spent a week studying it and I just studied the fucking shit out of it. So the rule isn't that like I have to work harder because I'm messy at dating and it's kind of consuming some of my time or my thinking and now I have to work harder to catch up on the business. Fuck that. This is what I'm talking about. I get to have all the things I need and long for and I get to have results in my business while I give myself what we need. And if last month making $2,800 by the 20th and then crushing 81K in 4 days isn't evidence of that, I don't know what the fuck is. I don't know what is. What else could I possibly tell you for you to understand like, oh, this actually isn't about struggling and being harder and working harder. Because the truth is when we desire or long for something like, oh, I desire that, I want that. The only reason you feel that way, you feel that desire is because there's a thing inside of your head that tells you, but you can't have it. That's where that feeling comes from. So now you're separating yourself from having the thing that you want, which is very fucking different. It's very, very different than you saying, I fucking decided I get to have that. You are going to show up completely differently If you're telling yourself, I desire that, I want that, I just want that result, I just want the clients, I just want the financial freedom, I just want the time schedule freedom, I just want to be in that group, in the Diamond Mastermind, I just want the thing, which is a normal human emotion. That's what most people do. But I need you to understand that that is not fucking helping you. That's better than saying like, why is everything so hard for me? It's fucking upgrade for damn sure. But we're going to upgrade it again. The next one is when you decide. Like the example I've given is like, oh, I was talking to my one of my guy clients. He's the one that purchased the year-long package, the last one I put out there. And I was saying, it's like you're standing there and your teenage daughter is standing right there and there's a creepy ass guy over there headed towards her. And that thing that shifts inside you when you're like, I've motherfucking decided that he is not gonna hurt her. Like there's like this, like, I mean, it's like a rock. It's like there is nothing on the planet that's gonna stop him from making that a true statement. Nothing. Like not a motherfucking tank and a machine gun on top of it is gonna stop him from allowing that guy to get to his daughter. Do you know what I'm talking about? That feeling of like, I've decided that he is not hurting her. This is a different place to live. That is very different than like, oh, I just want her to be safe. Not the same feeling. And feelings drive behavior. So your behavior will be it'll be completely different when you learn how to actually create beliefs that allow you to get to the place where you fucking decide. I've decided that this is what I get to have. I decided that in January I got to have a fucking epic month. Even if I squirreled out all the way up until the 20th, I just decided that's what I get to have. And when I tell you I decided, I really mean I fucking decided. The reason I can give you an analogy is because I know what it feels like to be a mom who's fucking decided that you will not hurt my child. And I also know what it feels like to decide that I get to be going through a divorce and all this hard stuff in the house and the travel and the moving and the not knowing where I am and moving my whole business and still get epic fucking numbers in my business, because that is evidence that I'm supporting the world. I'm giving my gifts to the world. I'm really supporting and changing lives. And also it's a sense of calm and peace and ease that I deserve to have. And I've just decided that I get to feel relaxed about that and I get to feel at ease and I get to feel safe. End of story. So I know what it feels like to fucking decide. And most people actually don't even know what that feels like. They can, like, you can maybe get it from other pieces of your life, but you haven't even almost just decided, I get to live life fully fucking expressed, lit the fuck up, as wild and crazy as I want to be, whatever version that looks like for you. And I get to be happy every day of my life. I get to have the things I truly long for. And I get to enjoy my life. And I get to give myself the things I need for self-care, the time and the space that I need. I literally can take I do. I can take weeks off of my business just doing the things I love and not doing the harder things and like dropping in. And then for 1 week I'll drop in and I still crush my business. You get to have and do the things that you love and still have all the fucking rewards. But what's going to be required is for you to shift from I desire this into I fucking decided. And so what's required for you to do that is for your beliefs to change. So do you see why this group feels so important to me, Wild at Heart? And this is why I made it stupid accessible for anybody, because I want you guys to be able to get a taste of what this is, because it'll change everything. It is the rooting of how your behavior is going to show up. You cannot, if I believed that I have to do things a proper way in my business, that I can't own my fucking power or my strength, that I did a post today, which I thought was super hilarious. I was thinking about, I'm like, my clients feel guilty when they don't show up and they're not being big and they're not getting epic results. And then they feel guilty when they get epic results and they do show up really big. They feel guilty. Like they feel guilty if they're not successful and they feel guilty if they're successful. And I was like, it's not like, you shouldn't not feel guilty because it's bad, because you're bad if you feel guilty, or it's a waste of time, or you're stuck in ego. I think that's kind of stupid. Like everybody gets stuck in ego, whatever. I don't even like the phrase. That's just my thing. You can love the phrase. I don't like it. Don't do it because it's a waste of your motherfucking time. It's such a waste of time. Nothing good comes from that. You're just stuck in a loop, in a trap, a self-feeding trap. Bad if I don't, bad if I do, bad if I don't, bad if I fucking do. And this is the shit that needs to change in order for you to live a life that's fully expressed, for you to truly allow what's in your heart to come out and be expressed in the world, and for you to receive what you're meant to receive, and for you to live with that sense of abundance and ease, and to be in that state of overflow consistently. The beliefs are going to have to change. And that is my intention with this group. That is it. And I know, sure as shit, that my giving you the example of making 81K in 4 days is going to trigger the shit out of some people. And you know what? This is what I have to say about that. The people who want money the most are the people that have the deepest, rootest excuses and limitations around money. So the people that are blabbing the biggest, I say blabbing. Yeah, I mean blabbing. I know that sounds kind of harsh. I still love you, even if you're blabbing. I really do. But if you're blabbing, or the other people you see blabbing about money being bad, or coaches who, you know, just want money, like, I don't know how you could possibly know if a coach just wants money or not, because I know for damn sure I made some assumptions about coaches that I currently have that I now know personally that I thought they only cared about money, and they fucking really don't. I mean, they really don't. So I'm thinking that you think you know shit you don't know. And I also think that the people who are yapping the most about money, which I think is detrimental to the world, which is why I say blabbing, because I think it's actually a disservice to the world. I think it's a fucking disservice to the world to shame other people who are talking about money, because how the hell are you going to learn? How are you going to learn to break through and have the money if nobody's allowed to fucking talk about it? It's not okay. And it's got to stop. It's got to fucking stop, right? So, the people that are talking about it the most are the ones that are the most desperate for the money. It's the same with everything, right? It's like the woman that's talking about how slutty girls shouldn't have their boobs hanging out, hates her boobs. She wants fake boobs, and she'll never admit it, but she wants fake boobs. It's like, you know, the guy that's talking about the boys that have their pants hanging halfway down their ass and like, oh, they need some respect. No, actually, you just don't feel very cool. And you wish you were cooler. And so you're targeting them because it's part of it that you're triggered by. I mean, like, it just is what it is. I don't know if that's really true. It's about cool, but it's about something, right? It's probably cool. You're probably not feeling very cool. Or very fucking hip, or very fucking young, or free, or whatever. Or maybe you have an itchy ass. I don't really know. But what I'm telling you is the loudest voices about like you shouldn't and you can't are the ones that are the most desperate for the very thing that they're saying that to. It's just like the people that you love in your life are a reflection of the parts of you that you love, and the people that you can't stand in your life that drive you crazy are the reflections of the parts of you that you don't like. That's what it is. So everything you complain about someone else. And so it's really true. So it's okay if you got triggered about the 81K in 4 days, or if it felt even more valuable, if it felt like, oh, I could never have that, check that shit. Knock it off. I just told you, my tribe will be up leveling. I'm praying and I'm calling this in, and you guys will be up leveling around not believing that the people that you see that seem to be so far ahead of you are any fucking different than you. We are not. We are exactly the same. We're just doing really brave shit. And when soul is saying yes, we are backing that up and we are stepping into that. And that is a very different way of living. And we're doing deep dives into the beliefs. Like, what are the beliefs that I hold on what is okay and what's not? And what are the fucking rules that I'm giving myself? That's the stuff we dive into. And that's the stuff that changes everything. I love when I hear people say like, oh, everybody's a mindset coach. Yeah, do you fucking know why? Because 80% of your success is based on your mindset. 80%! That means we need 80% more mindset coaches than we do the how-to coaches, because that's 20%. And it's awesome. I teach my clients how all the time because it's nice to know how when you're trying to do something. It just is nice. But 80% is your fucking mindset. You can't argue that. That is science. That is scientific fact. That's like mapped out in the brain. It's well known. It's like, it's not something that you can argue about. So it is what it is. You hear what I'm saying? Okay. I'm going to share the link in the comments below. Actually, let me put, if you're interested in the Wild at Heart, I have just dropped the comment below. Go check it out. Get your ass in the program. Just get in. Let's do the fucking work. And then if you would like to have a chance at winning the free program I'm giving away, go scan my website, see what you like, see what you love, get in the Wild at Heart, then go continue to purchase your, or to look at what program you want, and then follow the directions in the post. It's in my personal post. Just scroll down on my page, like 2 posts, and then you'll see the post there, and I'm in a gray sweatshirt, and just follow the directions and make sure you do the directions correctly, or else I'm not gonna pick your ass, because I'm picking competent people. And I know it's not competence. I know it's not. I know it's really calming the fuck down. We're gonna calm down together. Hi, Gina. We're gonna motherfucking calm down together. Okay, I love you guys. I will see the rest of you in Wild at Heart. Leader of the Leaders will be coming later on in the month. That is the motherfucking highest end program I've ever run. I'm really excited to do it. It's like a 4-week deep dive. That's coming later this month. And the rest you can go check out, see what you love, and I'll pick the person probably tomorrow. I'm gonna feel out, see how much engagement there is and who's saying what, and if something really stands out for me. And then and I'll see the rest of you in Wild at Heart. I love you. Have a fantastic weekend. Love you, Gina. Who said hi? Oh, that was Gina too. Okay, if you got value, please share the video. If you're in my tribe, please say hi or tell me that you're on the replay. If you're brand new, please tell me your name, comment below, tell me that you're brand new so I can go say hi to you and stock your shit. Okay, love you guys. Have a good weekend.